a workshop. So some locations will do it once a week for 6 weeks, which is a great way to introduce cooking to children.
You mentioned that you chose to go the self-publishing route for
Yes.
things that it taught you and that it worked better for what you want to express. Could you tell me what you meant by that? I never got it explained in detail.
Well, you know, publishing, the standard publishing way is a great way to go, but I really had a very strong vision of how I wanted the company to work. And because we're sort of packaged alternatively, we're not just a book, we're also a gift item. And to self-publish, I maintain 100% of creative control, which, you know,
That's very
this
good.
is really, you know,
Yes.
my vision here, and I wanted to see it executed in sort of the way I came up with it. So for better or worse, I went the self-publishing route, which is a lot more work, you know, do your own PR, you do your own shipping. You know, I'm just starting to branch out and delegate some.
How did you start that way? I mean, what did you do to become known and for your PR?
Still getting there. You know, my parents are small business owners throughout the valley, and you know, I was familiar with how small businesses worked, and I knocked on doors. I worked at the store M. Frederick when I was in high school and college, and I, you know, called up the buyer who I knew from working there and said, I would like to sell you something, and she's like, well, come on in. We started with them, and I just started going locally, and then the brand sort of got some buzz in Calabasas and through the valley, and then I picked up some rep groups, so they have in different areas of the country who kind of present the line to different stores, and that's one way. I do a lot of gift shows, book shows, gourmet shows throughout the country, and try to get some exposure that way.
Where do you travel to? Where have you been, and what have you done with that?
Where haven't I been? I was just this year, I was in Dallas, Atlanta, San Francisco, New York last week, back to San Francisco. So around the country.
Well, what really impressed me is that it's not just a product. You're teaching something here. You're teaching them how to cook. You're teaching them how to create a healthy menu for themselves with today's health problems and children eating the wrong things and obesity problems. If they don't start young, they're not going to get there. They're not going to be a healthy, active adult. And it's something that I always missed, and I know a lot of other people in my era, which was how to have a pleasant family dinner at home. It used to be the time for arguing and everything, but if you cook, if you produce something, and everyone has a part, and it's a child's endeavor, helped by a parent, it becomes a pleasant mealtime experience. And you can learn, and you can talk about other countries, and about how everyone helped prepare the meal. And it's also teaching them something that we Americans are starting to finally realize in the last generation, how important it is to learn other languages, plural.
Right. And right now, it's such a great opportunity when people aren't able to eat out as much as they were before to introduce home cooking. And it can be very inexpensive. You know, you can have leftovers for the next day. You can shop at local farmers markets to save money, but also use that as an opportunity to introduce health and consciousness of eating. So.
And everything one does themselves always seems to look better, feel better, and taste better.
Yes. Yes.
And it's productive use of some child's free time as well. And I think most important of all is what you're striving for children to work with one another and to build partnerships with people of other cultures and nonprofit groups. And as someone who has my own child, who's an adult now, building partnerships all around the country. And even though his job is one thing, he's building his own relationships through his music and through his photography, when the job he does is sometimes almost incidental. And it's how they feel and what they do with each other, the music, or in your case, the cooking, which really creates a bond amongst people from other countries.
Right.
And I think this is a first start to making someone a really contributing human being for the world, not just here in their own little microcosm. But do you think it can result in social change for the world with these kids?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, we've only been out for 2 years, but I think we're on the path to growth. And for this winter, we're going to be the curriculum for Sur La Table, and that'll
Are
be
you really?
Yes. So we're really excited. We just found out. So, you know, we're
What
starting.
is that going to involve? 'Cause I love that store.
Yes, I love the store as well. So for their winter cooking program, they offer children's classes, and we're going to be, our recipes are going to be the curriculum, and each child will get a book when they sign up for the class. So sign them up now.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. So I think it's sort of building on itself, and you know, once you know we get the full exposure across the country and in different markets, I think there can definitely, you know, once we're branded a little more and kids and families sort of appreciate what Handstand Kids is. And it really is about kids taking a stand in their own community.
Is that how you got the name Handstand Kid?
Well,
I'm wondering.
I can still do a handstand, which I think keeps me slightly.
Well, we won't ask you to
young.
do it, but you can still do it?
Yeah, not today, not in this outfit, but yes, I can still do it, and I promise. But for me, it's really about kids taking a stand in a kid-friendly way, and I think, you know, cooking is really an empowering skill for yourself, but it's also a way, you know, to give back to your own community, either through a food fundraiser or through volunteering with local food banks or, you know, homeless shelters. It's a skill, it's a life skill that can really connect children to the world.
Where can we get these cookbooks?
Well, you can check out the website. It's handstandkids.com.
Okay, we'll put that on the TV.
Okay. And locally, M. Frederick carries it, M. Frederick Kids. And the Little Red Barn in Calabasas.
Little Red Barn?
Yes, the children's store across from Sagebrush.
Ah.
Yes, very cute store. And the Blue Table Deli, so it's in lots of different places. And you can check the website for other locations as well. And in the winter, Sur La Table.
Well, that is wonderful. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I mean, you've done so much in such a short time. What do you see in 5 more years?
Definitely more books. Definitely, you know, just the company building on itself. I'd really like, you know, the company to run itself and be able to build our own nonprofit where the Handstand Kids can have its own nonprofit to be able to support itself in different parts of the world.
Very ambitious, very creative. I'm very impressed. Are you coming up with another cookbook?
Absolutely.
Which one is that?
We're brainstorming right now. We're thinking Greece or India.
Ah.
So I would like to go to South Africa and maybe work with Oprah School. So that's on the to-do list somewhere down the line.
Well, I think this is wonderful, and I think you've done remarkable things. And we're very proud to have you as a Calabasas resident. And I personally am going to buy each one because I have nieces and nephews. And I'm starting to pile up things for their Hanukkah Christmas celebration. So I know where to get it. And before I thank you, I want to do a little stanza here that, hold me harmless, please. It's not my words. It's from Edward Bulwer Lytton in the late 1800s. He said, "We may live without poetry, music, and art. We may live without conscience and live without heart. We may live without friends. We may live without books, but civilized man cannot live without cooks." So thank you very much, Yvette Garfield. Thank you, City of Calabasas, Media Operations Department, and our friends at the Calabasas Library. Thank you for today's Author's Night. And thanks again for joining us.